Hopping on right quick. All right, cool. Um, we are together as one in the movement towards dismantling the prison industrial complex. We have to remain committed to our values and mission and not let any negativity interrupt our vision. The following is what we will not stand for and what we ask all of our members to respect and follow to make this a safe place and a positive environment for all who join us in our mission. 1, we will not stand for any sexual violence or harassment of any kind. We ask that we respect everyone's boundaries. 2, we will not stand for any racism, sexism, homophobia, or any type of discrimination of any kind. 3, we will not stand for hypermasculinity and or man versus woman or woman versus man mentality. This is an equal space and everyone has an equal voice in this space. We will not stand for gossiping or any sort of divide and conquer. Teamwork is what makes the dream work. The mission of the Underground Scholars is to provide peer-driven support, assistance, and guidance to formerly incarcerated and system-impacted University of California students who are adapting to the challenges of acclimating to the university while striving towards successful community and academic reintegration. It is our aim to connect formerly incarcerated students with the resources and information that may help to increase those students' prospects of success. We want this to be a safe, sacred place where all of our members feel comfortable and protected. Please have the utmost integrity in everything you do as you're a reflection of all of us. Welcome to the Underground Scholars family. All right, now, yay. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the mic to our junior Underground Scholars and let them introduce themselves. And they're gonna be given an amazing presentation that they worked hard on all week. All right, go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, my name's Sunshine. I use they, them pronouns. I go to Dos Pueblos High School. I'm a freshman, and I'm here to teach you guys about pronouns and gender.
Hi, my name is Mia Voloshin. I'm a 6th grader at Isla Vista Elementary. My pronouns are she, her, and yeah. Okay, talk about it.
Are we just introducing ourselves, or
no,
are we gonna?
You're talking about. Just talk about your thing, what you're talking about.
Okay. So I'm gonna teach you guys about gender and why saying there are only 2 genders is invalid. There are only 2 genders. This is an invalid fact. It's not scientifically true. When people use this argument to dehumanize or disprove someone's identity, they are most likely wrong or uneducated in the matter of gender as a whole. Not saying that if you believe this, you are a bad person. Everyone has the right to an opinion, but when using the statement, "that's just science," as an excuse to misgender someone or disrespect someone's identity, it's just disrespectful. When people say there are only 2 genders, they're probably referring to sex. Your sex is your assignment at birth based on your genitalia. But even then, there isn't just male and female. There are also individuals that have XX chromosomes with male genitalia, or XY individuals who have ovaries. So there being 3 sexes, male, female, and intersex. The words sex and gender get confused often, but a person's gender is understood by many researchers to be influenced by a range of societal and environmental factors, as well as biological factors. A person can be biologically female, but express gender dysphoria or gender incongruence because they do not identify with their assigned sex. Now here is the dictionary definition of gender. Either of 2 sexes, male or female, especially when considering with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. The term is also more broadly to denote a range of identities that do not correspond to establishing ideas of male and female. Gender is the range of characteristics pertaining to and differing between masculinity and femininity. Depending on the context, these characteristics may include biological sex, sex based on social structures, or gender identity. A person that might identify as transgender has a gender identity that does not correspond with their biological sex. The term cisgender refers to a gender identity that corresponds with one's biological sex. People whose gender identity feel neither masculine nor feminine may identify as non-binary. In recent years, expanding the public understanding of gender has freed many to feel more comfortable in their own skin. Now that you understand the importance of an education behind gender identity, I hope you can understand the importance of pronouns and avoid the act of misgendering someone. If someone you meet or know is female to male or male to female transitioning or transitioned, please use the pronouns they feel most comfortable / identify with, because not doing so is very disrespectful and could be considered transphobic in many cases. Regardless of your beliefs, you must put them aside in the matter of respecting people around you that are just trying to feel valid and comfortable. The same thing applies to individuals that prefer they/them pronouns. Although in some contexts it might sound strange, it is not exclusively used for referring to multiple people. Here is an example of using they/them pronouns opposed to she/her pronouns. This is my friend's art. She made it herself. She is really talented and you should meet her sometime. This is my friend. This is my friend's art. They made it themselves. They are really talented. You should meet them sometime. The they/them sentence still makes grammatical sense, so there's no excuse for not using them. And if you don't know what to call someone and they don't tell you, please do the right thing and ask them.
So now I'm going to show you guys a presentation about how to use them properly and like just what they are. I mentioned a lot of, Sunshine mentioned a lot of things that I had in my presentation, so I'll probably just go over them. I need to screen share my presentation, so if you could allow that, please. Okay, let me screen share this. So before I get started, I just want to tell everybody happy early Halloween. I know that's off topic, but so pronouns, what are they and why do we use them? The proper definition of a personal pronoun. Each of the pronouns in English, such as I, you, he, she, it, etc., is a compromising set that shows contrasts of gender, person, number, or case. We use our pronouns to identify with our gender. We usually use third-person pronouns such as she, her, he, him, and they, them, just to name a few. We use first-person pronouns like I, we, you when we're writing a narrative or maybe telling somebody a personal experience or story. Our pronouns don't always have to be our assigned sex. You can identify however you like, even if it isn't your sex. And I know Sunshine already talked about how gender isn't equivalent to sex, but I'm going to go over that. So, what is sex and what is gender? Sex is what you were born as. If you were born female, your sex is female. Even though you were born female, doesn't mean you have to identify as one. Same thing with being male. Gender is what you choose to identify as. And many of you may have heard the term cisgender or cis, but what does it really mean? Being cis means you identify with the sex you were born as. So for example, I am cisgendered because I was born female and I also identify as one. There is nothing wrong with being cis. Many people have so many misconceptions about this term. Cisgendered people sometimes find it offensive or discriminatory, but there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just saying you identify with the sex you were born as. So other pronouns, such as neopronouns and he, they, and she, they pronouns. So what are neopronouns? Neopronouns are another set of third-person pronouns that are non-gender conforming that we don't really use in the English language. Sometimes neopronouns can be related to animals or objects or sometimes even weird words that we don't really use in the English language. For example, zim, bug/bug self, and zerzim. And many people are like, wait, what? You identify as a bug? You identify as an animal? But it's just like saying they, them, but with a connection to a word or an animal, like I said. He, they, and she, they pronouns. What are he, they, and what are she, they pronouns? These pronouns don't have a specific name for them, but people who identify with these pronouns just say that they're gender fluid. I had a friend who identified with she, they pronouns, and I asked her about it, and I was like, hey, do you think you could tell me a little bit about your pronouns because I need it for a project? And they were like, well, I don't really know that much about our pronouns. And I was like, okay, do you think you could tell me at least one thing? And she was like, well, I hate it when people just overuse one pronoun and don't use both. As you can see, when I refer to my friend, I use both she and they pronouns when I refer to them. So instead of saying, her hair, oh my God, looks so nice today, I love her hair, or instead of saying, their hair looks so nice today, I love their hair, you could incorporate both and say, their hair looks so nice today, I love their hair. I mean, their hair looks so nice today, I love her hair. I'm sorry, I accidentally said it wrong. And if you see someone who has maybe they, he, or they, she, and they is in front, then they probably want they to be used more than he or she. So people who identify with these pronouns don't like when people overuse one pronoun because it's a form of being misgendered. And I know it's sort of a complicated concept to maybe grasp, but there's more pronouns that are harder to understand, like neopronouns, and there's more ways of self-identification than just the ones they know. So right here, this green, white, and purple flag is the neopronoun flag. Since neopronouns aren't that common, the neopronoun community, they made this own flag. Right here is the gender fluid flag, and right here is the non-binary / MB flag. And here's some other neopronoun examples. I can't pronounce those, but you can just read them. And here's some other genders like bigender, male, female, agender, intergender, demi-boy, demi-girl, gender queer, gender fluid, transgender, just a lot more that I don't really know that much about, but you can look more into it if you like. So this is the vital part, the essential key. Why do we even use these pronouns? Well, we use pronouns so that we are more inclusive to people that are part of the trans community. Members of the trans community get misgendered so much, and people totally invalidate them and their pronouns. And to be honest, it's not really anybody's personal business to know if you're transgender or not. That's what you want to do. If you want to tell people, then that's totally up to you. But we want to include our pronouns so that people will respect us without knowing if we're trans or not. So you may have heard us use the term misgendering a lot, and if you don't know what that is, then we're going to explain to you. So misgendering is to refer to someone, especially a transgender person, using a word, especially a pronoun or form of address, that does not correctly reflect the gender with which they identify. So say, for example, a trans woman comes out to her family and is like, hey, I would like you guys to use she, her pronouns instead of he, him, because I feel more comfortable with she, her pronouns. And her family's like, okay, we'll do that. And they purposely continue to use he, him when referring to her. Sometimes we misgender on purpose, like that example, or sometimes we misgender on accident. And I cannot lie, because sometimes we do accidentally misgender my sibling, and I feel so bad about it, but it's perfectly okay if we forget, because not everyone has the sharpest memory to remember that. But we just need to remind ourselves that we can correct it each time we get it wrong. So if you have a loved one or a friend who came out as non-binary or maybe transgender, please don't ever say, oh my God, my friend, she uses they, them pronouns. Or please don't say, my cousin, he uses she, her pronouns. Because that's just a form of misgendering and invalidating someone. And like I said, it's okay if you forget, but it's not okay to misgender on purpose. So what is a dead name? A dead name is the birth name of someone who has changed it. The term is especially used in the LGBTQ community by people who are transgender and elect to go by their chosen name instead of their given name. So for example, if somebody is non-binary or trans and or in that gender area and they're like, hey, I want to use this name. I don't want to use the name that I was given at birth. Then the name they were given at birth is their dead name because they don't want to use that. But the name they want is the chosen name. So I recommend using a chosen name instead of a dead name. And sometimes with our family members, we can use dead names on accident or sometimes on purpose. And I use my sibling's dead name a lot, and I'm not really conscious about that. So just make sure that we remember, because we all try our hardest to make sure that we respect others. Finally, another important part is to add your pronouns right here to your Zoom tag in your bios on social media. So right here on apps like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, whatever you guys use, make sure to include that. I just put mine on some random spam account that I have, and on my Zoom right here is my pronouns. When you put pronouns, please don't put cis, or please don't put cisgendered or transgender next to it. Just include your pronouns without having that. There's some LGBTQ charities and hotlines, and thank you for listening. If you guys have constructive criticism for us, then you can tell us at the end in the chat.
Some questions.
Or questions, we'll be glad to both answer.
Also, I want to add something. Gender identity, obviously you can't choose what you want to be. You can't, if you're trans or like a trans male or female, they didn't choose to be the different gender because they got bored. They have dysphoria with themselves and their body. They don't feel matched up with their brain to their body, so they have dysphoria. And dysphoria is when you don't feel the same inside as you do outside. So obviously it's not a choice. You can't choose how to identify. It is a psychological thing, and obviously it's like something you can't
Yeah.
decide. You can't decide to be a boy. You can't decide to be a girl. It just happens naturally. It's
Yeah.
something in your mind, and it's something that people should validate and share with
Yeah.
others.
So if anyone else wants the charities or hotlines, just ask in the chat. If anyone wants to include their email personally so I can give them this presentation, maybe if I talk too fast or just to see it better, then just leave that below. And I also talked to my class about that. I have a combo class with younger peers, and they don't really understand that topic of gender. So it's kind of my job in the class to talk to them about all this stuff. And I've talked to my friends about my sibling, about their pronouns, and they've still continuously misgendered them, didn't respect it. And even if you don't agree with any of the things we've said, we just want to make sure that we respect it so that we can be more inclusive. And thank you for listening to our presentation.
Awesome. Great job. We really appreciate you. I'm going to open it up to MJ, who is our co-host of this event from UC Santa Cruz. And there you go, MJ. Take it away after that. Definitely.
What up? I mean, I didn't really prepare anything. You know, thank you for being in this space. But I'm like so proud of y'all. I'm like, I don't even know y'all, but I'm like, oh, tear it up, because you know, I'm 30, so like when I grew up, like pronouns and everything, like all this, it was not where it is today, and it's so great to see y'all presenting on it and like enforcing that, respecting it. And even if people like don't really understand, I like how you're like, you know, you gotta at least respect it, you know, and be more inclusive. And but I didn't know what to prepare. Like, is it like I know Josh was saying like a little bit about my experience, and like, is there anything you really want me to focus on?
I guess just talk about your experience. Talk about, you know, going through the system and just, you know, a little bit of your experience with that.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess I'll, you know, really I highlighted from, so I'm non-binary. But I'm trans non-binary, so I don't really like, I'm non-binary, so I'm not really super masculine or super feminine, you know, and I always felt that way ever since I was younger. But, you know, back then it was really even more demonized than, you know, now. Like, so it was very confusing at that time when I was younger, you know. I didn't really have a representation or an example to look up to. Most of them in the media, it was like a lot of violence against transgender or the LGBTQ community. And, you know, but I knew like I was always more masculine, right? So growing up, I got into gangs really young at like 10 years old, and like being the only like female assigned at birth, you know, really rocking, and like that really like played this whole I guess it took a toll on my mental health and, you know, my identity and my growth and how I grew and evolved as a person. But it really also allowed me to really look at things from this kind of outsider's perspective, where I wasn't really too susceptible to other people's dogma. Like, you know what, because I was always looking at things on the outside. I was always like, you know, like marginalized of the marginalized, I guess to say. I got into the system at 11 years old. I was actually talking about this because we were talking about, I don't know if y'all seen that viral video of that woman who like told off the police commission. We were like, man, she went off, and talking about, you know, when we're kids, you know, they want to have lunches with us, the police, but then as we get older, you know, they criminalize us, and now, you know, they're the ones arresting us, you know. And that happens, you know, like in all our communities. We got criminalized very young. I got into the system at 11, and then I was in the system from 11 to 19 in the juvenile justice system. And, you know, navigating that as well, like also being during that time I didn't have pronouns. I was just like, I'm Missy. I don't subscribe to labels. That's what I would say. And it was also very difficult because they're always constantly trying to fit us in a box, right? I would be like get sent to a group home, and literally they would take all my clothes away and make me wear girls' clothes. But of course I'm not wearing those girls' clothes, so I'd run from the group home, you know. Or I'd be in juvenile hall, and they would like literally mess with me by making me wear smaller size clothes, and I wouldn't. So I'd be wearing the same clothes for like a week, bruh. Same dirty clothes for like a week until I like would put grievances, like, you know, like. And that's just the way that the system is, though. It's very like it's not really accepting to, you know, transgender, non-binary. It's very binary, you know, already. Like but I always stood my ground and, and told them what's up. I mean, of course, like, I was a child, so I still didn't really understand it as well. But, I always knew to love and believe and respect myself first and foremost, even though all these people around me were trying to, make me into something I wasn't, or trying to force me to wear this, or um, trying to be more feminine. Like, but I always knew that, I had to honor myself, right? Even if it was just I was walking that path alone. And but many times too, it's very I went through a lot mentally. Like, I struggled with suicide a lot in my life. And during that time too, there weren't terms like gender dysphoria. And I actually I'll get to there because that's actually a great thing. But so there wasn't terms like that. So I knew I felt really uncomfortable in my body. I didn't really have anything to put like a definition to it, or like trying to understand it. And during that time too, like, I always wanted top surgery, right? Y'all know what top surgery is? Like, I'm sure like everyone like knows. Yeah, okay. Top, for those who don't, it's where you get a reduction in your breast tissue. So basically it's a mastectomy or double mastectomy. But during that time, the gender dysphoria wasn't a thing. So it was only looked at as like cosmetic surgery, right? And but it was something I wanted to do, and I wouldn't do it yet because I was still in the system. And during that time, it was very isolating, I guess, to say too, because a lot of the programs as well, they were very like gender specific, and I didn't really identify with the female gender, but I was like nurturing and loving, and but but yeah. So when I got out of the system, like the juvenile. Sorry if I'm like bouncing around. I hope I'm making sense here. I'm trying to like really tired. Okay, cool. Like, when I got out and I was an adult, like before I went to the adult system, went to county and stuff, like I also like took a step back and was trying to, figure out my own self, because it's very like quite like imprisoned in your own body. Like, I don't know if that's like the best way I can like describe being imprisoned in your own body with no like um representation, no understanding, no like no even room to breathe or explore like who the hell I am, because everyone's constantly telling me who I am. I'm a criminal, or I'm this, or I gotta wear this, or I gotta do this. So I really, like, when I got out, I really took a step back from everything and really like explored like who I am, what kind of person I wanted to be. And first and foremost, I had to be honest with myself and who I was, and a lot of that was accepting of myself in my identity, and being different in who I was, and really honoring and loving that. And with a lot of that also in this our society being different comes a lot of like just discrimination, a lot of backlash. And that is one of the things that is a realistic that we do have to like deal with in this world. But thankfully we have our support systems, that we develop them. And that was one of the biggest things as well, because growing up, in the streets and, being locked up, and people who are transgender and stuff, they're, ostracized. Like, they don't fuck with them. We don't talk about transgender. We don't talk about none of that, So I really had to like take a step back and really honor myself and like figure out myself first and foremost, which, I still was in the system, and, I went to school. Like, I went to community college. Like, I was still on probation and stuff, but I was, working hard to, you know, not just change my life, but also be real with myself. Because also I think a lot of like growing up was putting on a mask, a lot of like, because I couldn't even figure out my own identity. I couldn't, I didn't really know. And at the same time putting this mask on to hide like my emotions, or like trying to fit in, like, but that's just natural. Like, as you're young, like you want a community, you want to fit in, you want to get in where you fit in, you're trying to find it, right? But coming from the hood, we don't really have opportunities to like a diversity of opportunities. All you got is the streets, or like you banging, or you don't really, there's not a lot of options, so now an adult, I was able to, in going to school and meeting all these people from different walks of life, and being exposed to, a diversity of cultures and identities. And I learned about pronouns, and it really helped me to begin to like accept myself, and really start to really be real with myself. And I was blessed with when I came here. So one of the things too, like thankfully, like the UC, like you have great insurance, right? And like while you're here, so when you do go, all y'all take advantage of it. I'm talking about vision, dental, medical, take advantage. So I was blessed with I did the process and everything, and I got top surgery over the summer. So in August I'm still like lightweight healing from it, but yeah, right on, yeah, big like, oh man, it's like I didn't realize the how much gender dysphoria really messed with me. Like I wasn't conscious of it until I got top surgery. Like I don't really even like feel like suicidal like I did before. Like I wanted to, I think back on those times where I was so, being discriminated against, so like being cornered into like and trying to be like shaped and forced into something I wasn't, and I just wanted to end my life. And like thinking back on that, like I'm like, wow, so far from that now, and just like thanking my younger self for like sticking through and really like, you know, not just like honoring myself, but finding community amongst the people who do accept me, and building a community of people who are like us, because we need to, be here for each other, especially now. And like things are only getting, yeah, you feel me, like, and the beauty too is that all of us come from different walks of life as well, even if people aren't, trans or non-binary or part of the LGBTQ community. Allies are so important, because also they are advocating for us as well, and but yeah, getting top surgery like changed my life. So I also take testosterone as well. So I've been on T for about since, yeah, right on my T birthday is like July 14th. I think it's like National Non-Binary Day or something. It just landed on that day. But like yeah, that was crazy. I was like, what? It's a trip. So like but I'm not really fully transitioning like into it. I just feel more masculine. So I've been, taking T to feel more comfortable in my body. So that's with the gender dysphoria. So now it's like, it's everything I'm doing is easing that, and I feel more like myself, like for the first time ever, like, and that's really helped me to, now personally grow in other areas of my life. It's like, how can you be growing into somewhere else if you're not secure within your own body, right? First and foremost. So that was really, it really helped me and really changed my life. Like to now, I'm still healing, but it's great. And yeah, and if anyone's interested in anything like talking about that stuff, feel free to reach out to me. And I can tell you, the process, or like, also really, it's really good to just have someone to talk to as well during all this, and just like throughout your life, and growing and having that support. And yeah, I talked about a lot, and I hope that was like helpful. I don't know what else to talk about, but if you have questions too, feel free to ask me. Yeah, and build that support, that community, that support system has been extremely helpful. People who are accepting of you, because also not everyone's going to be accepting of you, especially to people like you grew up with. But those people aren't important. The people who are really important are the ones who are going to rock with you, respect you, and love you regardless. But you learn that because that's one of the things of life as well, as you learn to navigate different relationships, and you learn who's really for you and who ain't. And the people who are really for you, those are the ones you really want to rock with. Those other people, they're only going to get you down. No matter how much you're loyal, respect yourself first and foremost. Always know your worth, because if you're going to let someone else treat you like shit, that's literally telling them you're allowing it, and they can keep treating you like that. So boundaries, that's also a good one too. Boundaries. It's set and enforce those boundaries first and foremost, always, And yeah, reach out to your community, and you can always reach out to me too, whoever's out there. Like I'll shoot my email in the chat if you ever want to talk or you have questions. Feel free to, you can also ask right now too. Sorry, I'm just like, yeah. I'll wait the chats to see.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was so awesome. This was an amazing conversation. I'm gonna open up the chat, and we'll get the questions going right now. Let's see here. Okay, cool. Here, let me see. Oh, let me see here. I'll unmute you right now too. My bad. There you go. You're unmuted now. I think you can.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just gonna say right on
yeah,
too.
my bad. And then I'll unmute. Mia and Sunshine as well.
Can y'all hear me right now or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I just want to say I love that presentation too, and I love how y'all are like, getting out there, especially like y'all are the next generation, y'all the future, you feel me? And thank you for doing this, especially right now in the face of like hateful people. You be honoring yourself, even if you are island with just your homies. Stand up for what's right and keep that going. Thank you.
Yeah, I made it in the span of an hour on a lunch break, so I'm sorry if it wasn't that detailed, but I tried my hardest. Thank you.
Okay, I'm unmuted again. I was saying I even learned some stuff. I was like learning some stuff in there. I was like, I didn't even know this. Like the what was it? The the bug. I was like,
All
what?
the neopronouns.
Yes, Neo, thank you. I didn't even know that. And then all the like different genders that people identify with. I didn't even know that either. I was like, oh shoot, I'm learning something here. Yeah, great job. Great job.
Experience, like, I really relate to your experience. Like, growing up, I was like so confused about it. I even asked some really embarrassing questions, like, to my grandmother, and she didn't know how to feel about it. I was like, Grandma, what age do I have to be to stand while peeing? Like, I legit asked that, and I didn't understand. I didn't, like, maybe I grew up with boys too much or whatever. That's what she thought, and she thought like I was a tomboy or something. I just, like, from a really young age, and I still say that, like, people say it's a phase and stuff, but like from a really young age I already knew like I didn't fit that feminine category completely like everyone wanted me to. I wasn't all girly, and I didn't want to hang out with all the girls and play with dolls and stuff, and like I was hanging out with my brother, and we would climb trees and like play with dirt and cars. Like, that was my thing, and I was just like related to my brother more than other girls and stuff, and I related to boys more.
And it's so difficult, I'm like 11 and I'm barely learning this stuff, because when I was younger I grew up in like the tradition. I lived with my great grandparents, like the traditional Mexican family, and that wasn't like, nobody talked about that. Nobody was like, yeah, there's more ways to identify, and they were like super religious too, so that was not okay for them either. And I wasn't with my mom or with my dad at the time, so I was little, like I didn't understand that, and barely, like, I feel like social media just let us explore more. And I know I can't relate to that experience personally, but I just like, it's good that we got to learn about all these new things, that we weren't so like, uh what's the word, like, I can't speak, but that we weren't so educated on. That I feel like social media and the internet, even though it's not always a positive place, but it just lets us like learn about new topics that, like we said, we can present to everyone else.
And like when I figured out that there was more than just boy and girl, like I was like 12, I think, and I was just on the internet, and I was like in a hotel room, and I looked over and I was like, hey, would you guys accept me if I identified as non-binary? And then I explained it, and I was just like, the more I talked about it, the more I like related to it and identified with it. And like I just realized like, yeah, this is right, this feels right. And it was like not even a thing that anyone knew at that point. Like, it was crazy, and I'm glad I figured it out, and I'm glad that there was an outlet to show it to me.
Yeah. And we just want to say thank you too for just like telling us your story, because we don't really have any stories to listen to and stuff, so we're just like grateful that you got to tell us about yourself and like about your struggle. And we're sorry that you had to go through those things, but we're glad that you found yourself now and that you can be happy.
Oh, thank you. Y'all are so sweet. And I feel that what you just said, like, we don't really have representation, right? We don't really, oh, you know what y'all should see if you haven't already, which you probably have. There's this documentary on Netflix called Disclosure. Have you seen it? Oh, you should totally see it. It's about like transgender actors and like, you know, basically going down the history about how it was super violent, there wasn't representation, and now how there is. Like, you've seen like Orange is the New Black, you see like there's actual representation, and it is really important, you know, because all we do see is like in the media and stuff, it's not nice. It's not healthy. It's a lot of negative things, and you know, even if you're not like very conscious of it, we soak it up. Our minds are soaking it up, you know, and that also reflects on, you know, our identity, because we kind of, you know, when we're socializing, we're seeing how other people are, and it helps us to figure out how we are. And if it's just a bad example, it's not, we're gonna internalize it in a bad way, you know. So it's really great, and I'm glad that y'all have gotten this exposure very, you know, younger, because I didn't even know about pronouns till I got here till UCSC, and I was already 28. So, you know, I was like, dang, I'm already grown, you know? So it's
Mhm.
great you're finally being able to, you know, get that exposure and figure out like your identity and yourself. And also, you know, things are not binary. You will evolve as you get older. You know, you're going to evolve. You know, we all do. We change, we grow. And, you know, it's good that we just don't, try to conform to what popular media wants us to.
Yeah.
Don't, because you're not going to be happy. You know, be honoring yourself and what you want to do and your family and your loved ones. And like, even I'll say this too, because a lot of too, thankfully, I think y'all have great adults around you, which is awesome. Your family. Sometimes we don't have that. You know, like I'm mixed, right? My dad he was a white boy, but he died when I was little, and I didn't know his family for 17 years. And then on my mom's side, I was very disowned and kind of like people would attack my sexuality growing up, my own family, you know. And then I met my dad's family when I was 19, and then they disowned me again too because uh, there's I'm just different, you know. I grew up locked up. I'm like gay, like that, you know how I look. So even if, you know, thankfully my mom is an amazing person. I love my mother, you know, and if I'm so thankful to have her in my life. So know that if you even have family or friends and people want to like attack you for your sexuality or disown you, forget them. They're just toxic in your life. Even if you got one good person in your life and your family to rock with you and accept you, hold on to that and love and honor that. And I'm thankful at least I got my mom's and my brother, you know. And, you know, so that's one of the biggest things a lot of people, you know, part of our community, they struggle with it when their families are, you know, it's like the people are supposed to care for you and look out for you, and they're literally just attacking you, you know. That's also a reality. But thankfully, be thankful for the good people we have in our lives, you know. And those other people know that it doesn't matter what they say. A lot of those people, they don't accept themselves anyways, so let them be.
Yeah.
You know, we can only control ourselves.
Yeah.
So put
I've
your
learned-
happiness first and foremost and comfortable. And, you know, if you're ever down to, feel free to reach out to me. Flacco could give you my number too. I'm comfortable giving y'all my number as well, you know, because we
Okay.
do need that. It's important that we have that support system and community.
I've learned that trying to teach people who are reluctant of learning is just impossible. It's
Yeah.
never going to happen. When you want to teach someone and show someone your view, it's just never going to happen. So, like, why even waste time on it? I don't
Yeah.
waste energy on it. Like, they're just going to be closed-minded about it, and I got to leave it that way.
Yeah.
And
Proud
it's
of you.
just a loss on them, honestly.
And sometimes people have all these bad thoughts and misconceptions about transgender community and just people in that gender area because of the way that they are presented, of the way, like, some examples, like, there was this video that went viral of this trans woman at GameStop who was screaming at this man and was like, yeah, it's ma'am, not sir. And everyone's like,
ma'am.
oh my God, that's so crazy. I can't believe she's
And then
flipping out.
they generalized the whole transgender community based on this one person acting out about it because they
Yeah.
were getting misgendered.
And then people there's YouTubers. I follow this YouTuber and he's trans and he reacts to people who make things like heterophobia because people or just things against like people who are cis or people who are straight because of all these examples and stuff that people present. They just focus on the negative instead of looking at, oh, what's positive about this? Just like these examples that are not even good representation because there are positives. And the whole thing was, yeah, maybe that woman shouldn't have acted out, but maybe they should have respected her. Like, it goes both ways instead of just being like, oh my God, the trans community is terrible, because it's not. And then people come out with this heterophobia and people are just offensive to us cis straight people. Like, I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, they need to have empathy and put themselves in those people's shoes because it's not always just people being like, oh, okay, we respect you, because not everyone's gonna agree with it. Like I said, my grandparents were really religious and I was never taught about that. Like, I didn't know that there was such thing as being gay or lesbian, bisexual. I never knew any of that, and barely I learned about that when I was 10 because and I didn't have, like, there was no good examples at all. Just saying like, oh, this person's bad and just all this stuff. I'm sorry, that made no sense, but I tried.
No, you're good. You're good. No, totally valid. Yeah, no, you're making sense. And this is good too, because you also, it's good to talk through things as well, because it helps you like process and, you know, grow as well, you know. You should totally watch that documentary Disclosure. Y'all are gonna love that.
Awesome. So if there's anybody in the crowd that has questions and would like to chime in, you could go ahead and unmute yourself and ask any questions. And also the chat's open too. So if so I see MJ put up the email and everything. I really appreciate this whole conversation. I learned a lot. You know, that's my child is Sunshine. And I've been learning a lot, you know, and really growing to understand, you know, pronouns and my stepdaughter is Mia, and Mia's just been enhancing me to like really understand and really like, hey, you need to refer to them they them, like whenever I mess up on and I misrecognize the pronouns, or I say Lavana instead of Sunshine, like, hey, that's her dead name, like, you know, like that's their dead name. And so it's a growth process, and it's been amazing to grow. So
Hey, right on for that too. Like I was saying, that's, you know, that matters a lot too, especially with parents accepting of their childs that are, you know, different or not, you know, in whatever way, you know what I mean? That's great. And it's also, you know, in itself too, because, you know, coming up in the world we came up in, it's very toxic masculinity. People get killed for being transgender, you feel me? And they're not accepted, you know, and then at the same time, you know, many times we are left out of the conversation. But that's why it's great that we do this. You know, like when we had our meeting and I was like, yo, you know, I'm also going to tell you, I advocate, you know, for trans non-binary folks, because we are left out of the conversation. So it's good that, you know, we're doing this work and we're being accepting and empathetic and being open and, you know, right on, because that makes a big difference in, you know, in your child's life. And both y'all, because I'm guessing this is your boo also. Okay. Yes. Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm got the names. Hey, I didn't know your real name is Rising. That's cool, man. That's fucking, that is cool. But yeah, right on. You know, it makes a big difference, and it'll continue to do so. And also, you know, I'm part of y'all community now too. We fam, you know, underground scholars. So you can always tap in with me as well. Support y'all. It's all love.
definitely, that's what's up. All right, now, well, if anybody else has any more questions or would like to chime in and just, you know, talk anymore, and you can unmute yourself too. So I made it so everyone can unmute themselves too if they would like to chime in.
Today's been amazing. Thank you so much. Seriously, this was such an important conversation for us to have. So seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you. That means a lot to us.
I just want to say that I enjoyed your presentation a lot. You guys are wonderful, amazing people. I really hope you guys continue to do great things in the future. I'm excited to see what you guys do. And you guys are so young, and you guys already have so much knowledge about this topic. Like, props to you guys. You guys are doing great. Like, I wish everyone could be like you guys. But yes, if you guys ever need anything, you guys can always like email me, text me. It's okay. I'm open. You guys, we can have conversations. Like, if you ever need help in anything, let me know. I got you guys.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I think it's like so dope that you guys are so young, but you're so educated. And it's like, I'm not that much older than you. I'm only 17, but like when I was your guys' age, like when I was in middle school, I remember like people would still use gay as an insult, you know, like, oh, that's so gay, and say it like it's a bad thing, but like there's nothing wrong with it. And like, I just think that's really dope. Thank you, by the way, like to everyone who shared today. It was real dope.
Awesome. Well, that's our event. It was so inspiring. If anybody has like anything, like this is our writing workshop time too. So if you have like maybe some poetry or anything you would like to share, we'll open up the mic and anyone can chime in and share their writing or any of that stuff too, because this is our time for our writing work, our writing kickback. So.
Hey, that's cool. You do a writing workshop too? You do it every week? At this
Yeah,
time?
every Friday at this time, 3 p.m., we do our writing kickback, and we all come together and like share our writing and share like our like I do like a kind of like research writing and writing for research out of the Craft of Research book. So, and this week we like, you know, wanted to do something special, and this was awesome just to raise awareness and stuff. So
That's awesome.
Oh, and I also forgot to say for the pronouns on your Zoom, just like go to the Zoom settings, click on profile, click edit, and then you can just put them in the box and then save so it will be there permanently. So every time you go to a meeting, you don't have to keep on adding it.
Yep, I got mine. Well, I will, sorry, I will, since we're now doing a writing poetry, I'll spit a poem. I'll spit a poem one time. I write a lot of poetry too. So the one that's coming to mind right now that I'm thinking of is this poem that's called Just Us. It's like a spit off Justice. So it goes, I don't think there's cussing, but my bad if there is. Is it okay? You're like, it's good. Okay. So it goes, is it just us who see no justice and no peace, struggling to achieve the American dream? A dream just to have an opportunity to succeed, but somehow it's so far to reach. Caught in a system that's designed to keep us at war with each other. Storm is brewing right outside of your door. Is it our choice to endure? Or is there a power much greater than the plans of the hate-filled hearts, waging the war on the people and the power within? A power capable of manifesting revolutionary change. A change that ripples through generations and time. Seated in this message, trying to reach your mind through a rhyme. Because you see the powers within the people and the passion that's in our hearts. But change will only start when you shine the light on the dark, beginning within yourselves and branching out to the people, educating each other to fight for our rights to be equal. No one who walks along this earth is illegal. All this misguided hate and bigotry is spiritually lethal. Empowerment for each other starts with the peaceful, not the deceitful. Don't let the con steer you wrong. The power you hold within remains strong. You just gotta believe in the power of your seed to plant amongst the weeds of the world's evil deeds, to grow strong like a tree to feed the minds of the future. But first you must stop and find your design that creates change in people's lives one day at a time. Then you'll see it begins within thee. So may the life you lead be the life others seek. Be the change, lead the way, and ask yourself, what can I do today? Yee, that's it.
Dang, that's right. That's a hard one to follow right there.
Ooh, what's up? Who got some? Who gonna spit?
Here's one I wrote right here. This is one of my faves right here. Here it goes. Free. That's where I want to be. I shouldn't have done what I did. I messed up big. It's my life. I shouldn't have lived it on the wild side. I'm just glad I didn't die. I just want to sit back and cry, take a peek at my past life. If I hadn't screwed up, I'd be on the outside looking in. But now I'm locked behind a solid steel door, walking around on my concrete floor. I've done it to myself, though, so I might as well accept it and go with the flow. Free. That's where I'm going to be.
I'm like, who's next?
Who's next? I know we got some. I know we're getting that energy going.
All right, fine. I'm gonna do another one then. What's up? Y'all with it? All right. This one is called "It Takes the Hood to Heal the Hood." So it go. I love my hood. When I say my hood, I mean the community that makes me me. This bond amongst the people forged through the generations of forged through the struggles carried through generations. Unimaginable sacrifices made all in the name of achieving the American dream. A dream to believe we can succeed in the land of the free. But this land was never free in the eyes of the enemy. When you look at us, you don't see us. You see your fears reconstructing our very essence into being less than. They try to break our people down, seeing the world as conquer and defeat if we don't retreat. This bigotry has made you blind to these moments in time where humanity needs your light to shine. It was once said by a great soul that only light can drive out darkness. A light that derives from deep inside, that's unlocked by the composition of what's in your mind. What you choose to feed your light will either ignite your light or extinguish your gift to wake those who live in an ignorant bliss. Blind to the crimes of not only these times, but the crimes in which this country was designed. We all have the power to create great change. It all just depends if we're willing to trade our current state to manifest a new way for our ancestors, for the future generations of kids. It's time to change the ways in which we live And your heart, life, and mind is where the revolution begins. It all comes down to if you're really ready to let go of the socially constructed shackles that have a hold on your soul. Rise from the ashes and no longer be described by the masses. Unmaster the skies of these bastards and free yourselves from the lies that have us trapped here in fear. Open your eyes, educate your minds, but most importantly, it's time to let your light fucking shine. Sorry, I kept getting distracted. I'm like, stuff is going outside the window. But yeah, boom. That was that. Who's
Hey,
next?
that was cool. Definitely. Yeah, that's right. That's what's up. All right, this one I wrote in New Folsom State Prison on 5/27/2015. As the emotional thunder strikes down hard into the universe's heart, causing pain and destruction within the minds of its inhabitants, giving them the reminder of true reality that nothing is forever. Everything is constantly changing at a rapid pace as the lightning pierces the heart with words of pain and destruction. The raindrops come pouring out the eyes, washing away all the past suffering that has restrained the mind of my being. As the floods release the rapid water and it destroys everything in its path, bringing another reminder to the animals' minds that life is like the seasons. We all live through the 4 seasons. We are born in winter and live the first part of our life in the brunt of winter cold, trying to figure out this new brain and form. Then comes spring. This is where we start to shine and let go. Then comes summer. This is where we come to understanding of who we are and try to do all we can to live free and stand on our own. Then comes fall. This is where, like the trees, our body decays and we prepare for winter again, which is our death. A wise man lives life as if he is going to die tomorrow. He has a great urgency to get as much done as he can to leave a great legacy behind in a universe that is truly one. Everything that exists in its energy waves is the same. We're all equal within the universe's dream. So love the sunlight and all it brings and stay detached from everything as you come as you go with nothing but your soul.
Yo, that shit is deep. I love it, bruh. I love it. Woo. Hey.
That's
Dude,
what's up.
That's what's up. That reminded me of that one was so, you know, it's so dope, like the art that like we create when we're in our depths of pain, you know, like some fucking like transcendental, like, damn, bro, it's so wild, like straight up, because I also like I do Zoom workshops with the little homies in juvenile hall on Fridays. I
wrote
took a step
all
back
this when I was in
is that
prison.
you?
That's all me. That's all my stuff I wrote while I was in prison. I'm writing my book right now. My book's called Prison Traumatic Stress Disorder, and it's all my poetry in it.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
See, yeah, and it's beautiful. You know, it's like it reminds me too of like the books that Pac used to write too when he was locked up. You know, all the poetry, like you know, straight that transmutation of all that pain into beauty. Beautiful.
Definitely.
Oh, I'm gonna look forward to reading that book, man.
Yeah, nah, I got you. Yeah, for sure. I got a couple other books too with some of my stories. Like one of my stories I wrote, raising my children from a prison phone, and I raised Sunshine and my son Riley from a 15-minute phone call, and it talks about that journey right there of getting out and meeting my son for the first time. So that one's published. I can get you those ones are on Amazon.
Oh shit. That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, for sure. We're doing it. We're doing the damn
Hell yeah.
Colors all the way. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
I love it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm proud of everyone. You know what I'm saying? Everyone on this journey, we're all together and we're doing big things. So you know, there's so much more to come, and we got a lot of work ahead of us too. So this is all a part of that work, you know. But if you don't have anything else, and if anyone else has anything they would like to chime in, you know, feel free. The mic's open, so we'll leave it open. And if anyone wants to share any of their writing or anything, and then we'll go ahead and just go ahead and concur this meeting for the day. It's been a powerful one. So. All right, cool. Well, if nobody else has anything they want to add to this conversation, we're going to go ahead and step back and let everyone get to their weekend festivities. Have a safe weekend. Again, we are going to be back at this next Friday at 3 p.m. Come through to the Underground Scholars Writing Kickback. and share your writing. Have your writings from your classes, whatever you need help with. Let us know, and yeah, that's what's up. All right.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
And thank you
Yes,
for
take
listening.
care. Thanks.
Keep
Thank
it
Thanks,
up.
you
MJ.
for your
Yep.
story.
Thank you, Sunshine.
We just
Thank you,
wanted to
Via.
say, Tanya, you're really pretty.
Aw.
Aw, they're so cute.
I'm like, who's Tanya?
Oh my
Oh,
God,
Tanya.
they're crying
Hi,
some.
Tanya. I know, Tanya. That was, I love too. You're so like, like, I love how, like, you let the soft emotions you're feeling just like flow through your eyes. Like, did anyone else get that when she was like talking? I was like, oh, wait, are your pronouns she, her?
Yes, they are.
Okay. I'm like, you don't have your name, but I always ask too. Like, when I'm like, she, I'm like, wait, hold up. Like, what's your pronouns? You know? Because also, you know, you lead by example, right? Yeah, y'all all so beautiful, and thank you all. Keep the great work going up. Keep learning, growing, and spreading that love and positive energy. Thanks for having me, and holla at me if y'all need anything. You got my email. Much love, y'all.
Right on, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace out, y'all.